Good evening. Today is Tuesday, January 3rd, 2023. This is a regular session of the Board of School Trustees of the School City of East Chicago. The time is now 6 p.m. The place is School City of East Chicago Auditorium, 1100 West Columbus Drive in the School City of East Chicago, Indiana 46312. This meeting is also being shown live via live stream at www.scec.k12.in.us. This is a meeting of the school board in public for the purpose of conducting the school corporation's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. First item on the agenda is the call to order. Ms. Bigham?
Trustee Rodriguez?
Present.
Trustee Gomez?
Present.
Trustee Gibson King? Present. Trustee Smith? Present. Chairman Hernandez-On.
Present. Don't forget to use your mic. Use your mic. The next item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. Can we please rise once again for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Are there any comments in the audience for the approval of the agenda? With none being heard, is there a motion for approval for the agenda?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve 3.01, approval of the agenda.
Trustee Gomez makes a motion for approval.
I second that motion.
Trustee Rodriguez seconds the motion. Are there any questions? With none being heard, Ms. Bigham?
Trustee Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee Gibson King?
Yes.
Trustee Smith? Yes. Chairman Hernandez-On.
Yes. The next item on the agenda is the organization of the board, so we'll go individually one by one. And the first one is item 4.01, the election of the board president. And I am excited to finally give up this. I don't know if it's a burden or not, but I would like to nominate Trustee Rodriguez for board president. So we have a nomination on the floor for Trustee Rodriguez. Is there any other nominations for him or for anyone else? If we could take,
At this point,
we'll have Ms. Bigham. Have a roll call vote.
nominations will be closed. Yep, roll call.
Nominations will be closed. Ms. Bigham, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Rodriguez?
Yes, I accept.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes for Trustee Rodriguez.
Trustee Gibson King?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
Chairman Hernandez-On.
Yes.
Thank you. Let's give another round of applause for Trustee Gilda Orange, or Hernandez Orange, I'm sorry.
Vanessa.
Or-
Not Gilda, Vanessa.
Yeah, Trustee Orange. Okay. So the next, and I do appreciate the board for allowing me to be president for 2023. I want to thank each and every one of you for giving me that opportunity. Again, I want to also commend, or not commend, but I want to also congratulate Patty Gibson King, our new trustee, as well as Diane Smith for their outstanding performance in this past election. And let's go on to the next, which is the vice president. At this time, I'd like to open up the floor for nominations for vice president. At this time, I'm going to nominate Patty Gibson King for vice president. At this time, I'm going to close the nominations. Hear none. Congratulations, Patty Gibson King. Is there a form of an order?
Roll call.
Roll call? Okay. Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Trustee Rodriguez?
Yes.
Trustee Gomez?
Yes.
Trustee Gibson King?
Yes.
Trustee Smith?
Yes.
And Trustee Hernandez Orange?
Yes.
Congratulations, Patty.
Okay, I gotta take this to chairman.
Next, I'd like to open up for board secretary, or I'm sorry, board secretary. At this time, I'm going to open it up for nominations.
I would like to nominate Diane Smith, trustee.
Okay, we have Diane Smith. Is there anyone else for board secretary?
Mr. President,
Trustee Gomez?
I'll put my name up for nomination for board secretary.
Okay, so we have Trustee Gomez as board secretary. Since we have two, Madam, I'm going to go ahead and close the nomination. Any other nominations? Okay, I will close it. Diane, roll call.
Mr. President, this vote has to go by name.
That is correct. So there will be a roll call by name.
Okay,
Thank you, Trustee Gomez.
so Chairman Rodriguez,
Trustee Gomez.
Gomez. Trustee Gomez.
Gomez,
Trustee Gibson King.
Trustee Gomez.
Trustee Smith.
Diane Smith.
And Trustee Hernandez Orange.
Trustee Smith.
At this time, I'd like to congratulate Trustee Gomez as our board secretary for 2023.
thank you.
Next will be school district treasurer. This will be a form of a motion. Is that correct? So at this time, I entertain a motion for board secretary.
Chairman Rodriguez, I'd like to make a motion to have our CFO, Leila Simmons, as the treasurer of the school district.
Mr. President, point of order. We're on 4.04. The motion.
To
Okay.
appoint the,
I'm sorry. We're a point for, yeah. Okay. So we have a motion by Trustee Hernandez Orange. Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a second by Trustee Smith. Is there any discussions, or is there discussions on, is there any discussions? Madam Bigum, roll call, please.
Chairman Rodriguez.
Yes.
Trustee Gomez.
Yes.
Trustee Gibson King.
Yes.
Trustee Smith.
Yes.
Trustee Hernandez Orange.
yes.
4.05, appointment of legal counsel. At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion for school district attorney for 2023. Do I hear a motion?
Chairman Rodriguez, I'd like to make a motion.
Motion by Trustee Hernandez Orange. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Smith.
Mr. President.
Trustee
I
Gomez.
did not hear the name of the legal counsel.
I'm sorry. This would be for Attorney Harris. Full name would be Attorney Jewel Harris.
I'll correct that, Trustee Gomez. I'd like to make a motion to have the appointment of legal counsel be Attorney Jewel Harris.
Okay. And Ms. Smith, you're okay with that? Trustee Smith?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Is there any discussions? Madam Secretary, roll call?
Chairman Rodriguez.
Yes.
Trustee Gomez.
Yes.
Trustee Gibson King.
Yes.
Trustee Smith.
Yes.
Trustee Hernandez Orange.
Yes.
Okay, next, at 4.06, this is the appointment for Finance Committee member for 2023. At this time, as Board President, I'd like to nominate Diane Smith as well as Patty Gibson to sit on that Finance Committee. Is there any discussions, or is that, do I need roll call for that, Trustee Harris? Okay. So our Finance Committee will be Patty Gibson King as well as Diane Smith.
That's your appointment as chair.
Okay. Second appointment for the Policy Committee, I'd like to appoint 2 members as well for 2023, and that would be Jesse Gomez and Patty Gibson King for the Policy Committee. 4.08, the appointment of Legislative Committee. I'm going to go ahead and table that till next meeting. I have some questions with regards to that and how we all can participate in the legislative sector. However, if there's any questions or that I need to hire or need to bring in just one, I will bring that up to the next meeting. But I like to get all board members affiliated with the legislative side, so that we can address our concerns to the state level. Next, we have number 5, the consent agenda. Start with the audience, if there's any questions or comments regarding the consent agenda at this time. The consent agenda basically is there's a series of titles, which I'll bring it up. Basically, it's combined into one, since it's basically our regular business order that we do. We consolidated into a consent agenda, so we're able to consolidate all these titles into one consent agenda. I'll go over it now. So 5.01, we have the claim docket. 5.02 is the personnel report. 5.03 is the distribution of payroll. And 5.04 is the fundraiser. So at this time, I'd like to entertain a motion for the consent agenda.
Mr. President,
Trustee Gomez?
I'd like to make a motion to table the consent agenda at this time.
There's a motion on the floor for tabling the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
Jesse Gomez makes a motion. Trustee Gomez, Trustee Gibson King seconds the motion. Is there any discussion by the board?
Trustee Rodriguez, I have a comment.
Yes.
I absolutely and 100% against tabling this motion because, one, it's business and it needs to be handled. And another situation is that we have on the personnel report a position for the basketball coach who has to go and play a game tonight. The politics that we're playing at this point in time, you're hurting those boys who have been in the locker room trying to figure out who's going to be their coach today. So if you're trying to hurt me, that's fine. I don't want any position. I don't want anything, but do not hurt those kids. And that's exactly what you're doing by voting for this right now. And I'm so disappointed in this board, and I knew this was going to happen.
My comment is,
Trustee Smith?
the board and the children are supposed to be our first focus. Today, this has shown me how you really, really feel about our district by tabling this. And you're not hurting me, Vanessa, or whomever you throwing this out at. You're hurting our children. The sectionals are coming up. We need to take personality out of professionalism. And if we don't start today, as of January the 3rd, 2020, we might as well not even be here. Because it's not about us, it is about those kids. The sectionals are gonna start, you wanna table this. So how is that gonna look throughout this whole community? And it's not about because the person is there. It's because we need a basketball coach. We have been playing with this for the last 3 years, and I am appalled to the decision.
Is there any discussions?
Yeah, Mr. President, I'd like to speak as far as the issue.
Trustee Gibson King?
The issue here at hand here, the consent agenda. I'm just been in receipt of this package right here. I am the new member. I have no knowledge until right now as what's going on. And so I would like to have a chance to review my input and see what is on this agenda here or what's in this package that I have. I just received this. I did win the election November the 8th. Some of you may know that there was a recount, and I did win the recount. So it's not like nobody knew that I was not coming. So I'm here, but I'm just getting these items to review for my consent here. So that's why I'm tabling the matter here.
Trustee Rodriguez?
Trustee Hernandez Orange?
I want to see if we could have a recess so we could discuss the packet and whatever questions that Patty Jo Gibson has, so we could actually answer. Because again, I think there's a bigger picture that we have to have tonight. Literally, I think Mr. Mitchell from HR probably needs to start calling to Hammond High School as of right now, because there's technically no coach, and actually a game started at 6 o'clock. So if there's a way we could walk me through that. I don't know how to do that.
One option is for a recess. The other option, based upon Trustee Gibson King's comments, I don't know, can you hear me? All right, it's going in and out. Is for an abstention. You know, if you don't feel comfortable making a vote on something, you don't have to vote yes or no. You also can just abstain. That's another option for you. So I'm just putting it out there. Legally, that's another option you have.
Okay, so here's my concern. As a person who just came on the board, I do understand Trustee Gibson King's concerns with regards to the consent agenda. What I can do is to have a small window for next public session. A quick window, but I truly think that every school board member needs to know what is going on anything with regards to the consent agenda. And my question is there a reason why Trustee Gibson King did not receive her packet sooner? Ms. Bigham?
Ms. Gibson King, did you receive an email from Ms. Diane in regards to the personnel report and the basketball coach, and how that person ended up receiving the highest points from the committee?
No, Ms. Orange, I had no information at all, no email or anything from Mrs. Bigham pertaining to this matter here.
Because I did ask, actually, to make sure that you're on there. She said that you have received all of our emails. That was the only reason. So I know for this, because we could have just made a secondary motion with just approving that one item, correct, Joel?
Yes, that's an option.
I make a motion for secondary motion.
Was there a primary motion? Okay, so we have a motion and we have a second. So at this time, I guess we can proceed again, and we'll go from there.
There's a secondary motion that's made, so you'll need to take action on that, and then you can take an action
Okay,
on
so who made the secondary motion? I'm sorry.
first.
So we have the first motion, but whom, you say there was a
You would take the secondary motion
first?
in terms of
Okay.
vote, yes.
So, Ms. Smith, you made a motion,
Yes, I did.
and what, can you repeat your motion again? I'm sorry.
Make a motion for secondary motion.
To,
Not table it.
okay. So
Mr. President's point of order,
Yeah.
that motion is appropriate.
So it's a motion that's same as the first motion, so I'm going to go ahead and,
Are we gonna go ahead with the personnel report? Is that what you're saying?
no, we're going to make a motion on the consent agenda now. So what you're saying is to not table it. It's the same thing as Jesse making a motion to table
Not
it.
table.
Okay. So what's your secondary motion?
President, take this call for a question. Let's have a roll call.
Madam Bigham, roll call?
Mr. President, as a point of order, the motion is to
So-
table the consent agenda. A yes would be to table it.
So the primary motion, So there's just one
There's
motion?
just one motion.
Okay.
The question is whether to table it or not.
Okay. So the question is whether to table the motion or not. So at this point, that's the motion. The motion is whether to table. It was seconded by trustee Gibson King. So let's move forward with that. Madam Secretary, roll call.
Chairman Rodriguez,
Yes.
Trustee Gomez,
Yes.
Trustee Gibson King,
Yes.
Trustee Smith, Trustee Hernandez Orange.
Abstain.
Item number 6, superintendent remarks.
Yes, thank you, board members. At this time, I would just personally like to thank all of the staff members of the School City of Chicago for helping me greatly during my first semester as a leader of the district. I also want to thank all of the governing board members for helping me create a vision of excellence for our students and community. And I look forward to the second semester and know that if we continue to work together, we will have success for all of our students. I want to thank you again for giving me the opportunity to lead the district. Thank you.
At this time, is there any trustee remarks?
Yes, I'd like to say to my family and friends, thank you all for coming out. I'd like to thank my pastor. And first and most of all, I'd like to give honor to God, who is the first and foremost in charge of my life, and I want to thank him for that. I want to thank my board members here. I want to thank you, Mr. Joe Harris, Mr. Ambrego, and your staff. I would like to say that I am ready and willing to work with everyone on the betterment of our children. Thank you.
Any other trustee remarks?
Trustee Rodriguez, I have a
Trustee Hernandez Orange.
First off, I wanted to welcome Trustee Gibson King. There's so much to learn in regards to being a school board member. It's one thing to sit on one side and advocate, but it's another thing to sit on this side and then you can't let people say certain things, or you're not supposed to say certain things because you just never know what's to happen. Or legally, if you're able to do it. So there's tons of learning to do. I'm still learning on a daily basis. I also want to just address, I think Trustee Rodriguez will address it also, this rumor in regards to closing of schools. While something was said at one meeting and we discussed it in the school district, there's nothing that has been discussed amongst the board or nothing agreed upon the board. So once we end up all speaking, then that's when actual action will take place. I just don't want us to have resignations or people scatter and run, and I also want us to make sure that we have a plan in place in order for the next step to happen. So please don't have any fear. We have plenty of children that we need to educate. And we need to make sure every single one of them stay here. Once again, I am disappointed that every single one of these people, well, not all, but that you take something out on me for the kids. I have no problem taking the grunt, but when those children are the ones that suffer, I've always said it's a problem. Being on the school board has been very hard because of the fact that we, as a whole, have never put children first. We will never get any better until we actually make these decisions for our kids. And I know this one position is very minute to the whole picture, but you could tell from something minute and something big, it's the same story. Today I saw a photographer here that we're gonna have to pay for taking our pictures, yet we have students who have a photography class as well as we have someone who actually does photography for us. We could have had them do it. Let's embrace our kids, let's make sure that we do better for them. Unfortunately, it's not happening. But hey, we're part of the party.
First, I'd like to welcome Ms. Patty Jo
Trustee Smith.
King. Welcome aboard. God bless you. This is a lot of hard work, a lot of studying, a lot of research. I do enjoy being on the school board, but I must say this from the bottom of my heart. I am very, very disappointed with this tabling of this particular sports. If we're gonna start out 2023 like this, Lord have mercy on us for the rest of the year. And I'm saying that from the bottom of my heart, and I really don't care who really feels it or whoever. You can keep your remarks to yourself because I don't want to hear it. But I'm voicing my opinion. If we don't get it together, we are a lost cause. And to put our kids on the sideline because of personal preferences or whatever, that's not about it. It's about the person that actually can do the job and do it well. I have been in a million positions where it might be a person I might not like or I might disagree with, but when at the end of the day, when it comes to another person that's involved, a third party, you must come together. So if, as a board, as of 2023, if we don't get it together, we are not only going to lose our district, but our children. And we must, if you say you're about these kids, then God doggone it, show me. That's all I have to say.
Any other trustee remarks? I do like to say a few comments. First of all, congratulations to our girls' high school basketball team. This past weekend, they won a tournament. The second thing I would like to address is the fact that the photo person that's here, I asked him to come, and there'll be no charge to the school district, by the way. Third item I do want to say, with regards to the consent agenda, there will be a short window for that. I don't expect to, and hopefully this table would probably, I'm shooting for probably next Monday, if that's okay with the board, but I want to make sure that we do approve this consent agenda.
There'll be 2 games without a head coach, just by the way.
And just for clarification, I did have an opportunity to speak with the athletic director today, as well as our superintendent.
We shouldn't be talking to the athletic director. We should only speak to the superintendent.
Well, let me address. I did speak with the superintendent as well, and there will be coverage for the game today, because that was one of my concerns as well. Other than that, our next meeting is going to be Monday, January 9th, 2023.
Mr. President, as a point
Trustee
of order,
Gomez.
there's another item on the agenda, which is the public forum. And
Okay.
before we go to that, I'd like to make a comment that the consent agenda is something that should be addressed by every board member. They should all have the opportunity to review this, ask questions of the superintendent. Given that Trustee Gibson King did not have that opportunity, I thought that was unfair. So I think we're a Board of Education, we should educate ourselves on what we're voting on. So I'd like to give her that opportunity. We're ready for public forum, Mr. President.
Does anybody?
There's Linda Randolph signed up to address the board.
Okay. Trustee Harris.
If you could please step to the microphone, they're going to bring it down. State your name. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Please be respectful to the audience, the staff that's present, and of course the board members. Thank you.
Good evening. I just signed up at 4:30, 5:30, whenever it was, to say Happy New Year and to say welcome to our new board member, Patty, to say thank you to Vanessa for your leadership, and to say God bless and guide all of you. Thank you, Dr. Abrego, for your leadership in the district. I guess at this point, I just want to go back to what was said earlier about making sure we have the strength, the courage, commitment, and dedication to get the work done for children. And I just want to continue to encourage everyone to make sure we rise to high expectations. Anybody that knows me, I've been talking about ever since I retired and watched what's happening in the district, expectations are down here. I want us to rise to high expectations. And how do we get there? We want all our schools to be A, but the only way we'll get there is that if we're all about A, and that A word is accountability. Accountable as parents, accountable as staff, accountable as community, accountable as a board. God bless you.
President, that concludes.
Yeah.
Leave us up on the front table.
If she didn't have an opportunity to see where the sign up was, it's up to you as board chair. If you want to allow her to speak, you can.
Thanks for clarifying. The next date and time of our next meeting, which will be Monday, January 9th, at the Administration Building. And can I get a motion to adjourn?
I motion that we adjourn the meeting.
Motion made by Trustee Gibson King. Is there a second? I'll go ahead and second that motion. Roll call.
Trustee Chairman Rodriguez,
Yes.
Trustee Gomez.
Yes.
Trustee Gibson King,
Yes.
Trustee Smith. Trustee Hernandez Orange.